for iPhones from the App Store, for Android on Google Play. And now Guide Us TV is available on Roku. Get guided with Guide Us TV. Here are some ways to get Guide Us TV. Via satellite on Galaxy 19 FTA. At this satellite frequency, transponder rate 5, frequency 11836 MHz, polarity vertical, symbol rate 200, FEC 3/4, channel ID, Guide US TV. You can also download the app to your smartphone. Available for iPhones from the App Store, for Android on Google Play. And now Guide Us TV is available on Roku. Get guided with Guide Us TV. Here are some ways to get Guide Us TV. Via satellite.
You're watching The Newsroom, Islam Newsroom. The news you want, when you want it, from the Islamic perspective.
Now we have some websites, alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Who is Allah?
Maybe we'll even see somebody enter into Islam.
Excuse me, do you believe in God?
Why do we call him Allah?
One more time, everyone. Okay, good.
These are the ones that we're going to be mailing out.
Ilaha. Illa. Allah.
And I bear witness that Muhammad.
And that's right, we're right across the river from Palestine, as a matter of fact, here in Aqaba. The new moon, the Hilal, has been sighted for the month of Shawwal.
When the adhan is called, it doesn't matter where you are. You go and you make your salah, alhamdulillah.
Now, I think this is something that inshallah ta'ala we'll all be able to benefit from.
Log in now and make your contribution today to support your favorite project at donatetoislam.com.
You're watching The Newsroom, Islam Newsroom.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, you're watching us, and I'm watching you guys. Right now, I'm asking you to start sharing right now because, why? We have a special program tonight. We're going to be talking about miracles of the Quran and actually asking people to call in and recite Quran. Our contest is going on, giving away $1,000, yeah, plus $100 for the next 10 participants who come in and do a good job with the Quran. Yep, and all of that's going to be decided by the judges just before Eid al-Adha. Yeah. And there's more, a lot more. But first, let's introduce Dr. Sultan. He is our first guest for tonight. Assalamu alaikum, doctor. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. And you're in St. Louis, Missouri, so can you give us an update? What's going on over there?
Yes. Same old thing.
All right.
Sickness is increasing all over the place. We need to follow the rules and regulations. We need to sacrifice our own personal freedom for the well of the society. We have to have masks. We have to have social distancing. And we have to do whatever we have to do to prevent infection, because we don't have a clear-cut path forward to say, well, okay, now you got a vaccination, you got this drug, miracle drug, that's going to take care of the infection. So
wait a minute, is there a miracle drug out there that we can take?
I wish there was. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
it
no.
Was, I could hug, I could meet everybody, I could socialize with everybody, because I don't care if I get it. What's the big deal? The miracle drug will gonna take care of that, you see. But fortunately, unfortunately, let me tell you, neither in this acute illness like COVID nor in chronic illnesses like asthma, arthritis, colitis, hypertension, we have magic pills. We need to focus on prevention, prevention, prevention. As the wisdom says that an ounce of prevention is better than pound of cure. Same thing applies right here. So we have to do what is in our human capacity, and the rest of the things we need to Allah Ta'ala. I do my best, and then if I get sick, that was will of Allah Ta'ala. I did my best what I could. But if I don't do, I do helter-skelter and I say, hell with it, and let it come whatever it comes, you know. It always, in a situation like this, reminds me, see, this universe works on various laws. One of the laws is called law of gravity. You say, well, I don't believe in the law of gravity. Well, you can get off the mountain and jump, and you'll find out if the law of gravity really exists.
You'll discover it, right? You'll discover the law of gravity.
Yeah. The only thing that can defy the law, you know what is the that defies the law of gravity? When man found out the laws of aviation. Without aviation, gravitation is there and it's going to affect you. So similarly, the covariate is there, it's going to infect you, it's going to make you sick. So you have to apply the basic common sense principles of avoiding and social distancing, yourself and everybody else, wash hands, personal hygiene. Those are the basic things. And good nutrition. These are the things that will diabetes. And number two, hypertension. These are statistically, these people are more prone to get COVID infection. As we go into the program, we will talk about that why these are the factors in reducing our immunity and predisposing us more to infection. And I would like to have the callers not only talk about the medical aspect, but also ask us any medical question that you have. We'll try to do our best to help you, of course, free of charge. So please feel free to contact me if you have any chronic illness and ailments that you're not been able to find any answer, and we'll try to help you the best we know.
Actually, we put the phone number up here right now, guys. You can call in and ask the doctor any questions that you might have about this virus and about how to prevent it, about your immune system, and what you can do to build it up. Both of our doctors, our guests tonight, are experts in this area, and they have really committed themselves to these live programs that we're doing. We're doing these programs every single night, and now on Friday night and Saturday night, they have asked me to give not just an hour, but 2 hours. So we're going to be doing these 2-hour programs, inshallah, God willing, every single Friday and Saturday night until all of this is over with, inshallah. And hopefully with your prayers, with your du'as, and with Allah's help, we'll be able to get through this. But first, I wanted to come back to another part of our topics tonight is about the Quran. And the Quran itself is definitely a source of ease for us, a source of giving us the protection that we need in this life, but also relaxing us. And so we got a phone call here. Let's take a phone call all the way from Minnesota, it looks like. And they hung up. All right. So if you're in Minnesota, you'd like to call us again, please don't hesitate. We'll take your call. Let's listen to the Quran right now. This is something that is very important because the Quran is a miracle from 1400 years ago, talking about, in this case, about male and female of all of the plants, all of the animals. And we heard last night about the insemination of these trees and plants by the wind, and the wind is called something in, I can't even pronounce it in English, but it's telling us that the wind will help pollinate. All right, but listen to this one. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Listen.
The words in the Arabic language are divided into two categories in terms of gender. The words that are used for female beings are called mu'unes, feminine. The words that are used for male beings are called muzakkar, masculine. In Arabic language, things are either mu'unes, feminine, or muzakkar, masculine, whether they are animals, plants. So, in Arabic, verbs are also divided into two as female or male. When the doer of a sentence is male, the verb is conjugated as masculine, and when the doer of the sentence is female, the verb is conjugated as feminine. That is, there is coherence between the verb and doer in terms of gender. After this information, now let us pay attention to the verses 68 and 69 of the chapter of An-Nahl. And thy Lord taught the bee to build its cells in hills, on trees, and in men's habitations. Then to eat of all the produce of the earth, and find with skill the spacious paths of its Lord. There issues from within their bodies a drink of varying colors, wherein is healing for men. Verily, in this is a sign for those who give thought. In Arabic, the bee is written as nahl, in the same way both for male and female. This word has no feminine form. However, the Quran uses the feminine form of the verb when it gives information about the inspiration which is given to the bee and what the bee does. As we have mentioned before, verbs in the Arabic language are conjugated in different ways according to the gender. This is also valid in many other languages of the world. When what the bee does is narrated in the Quran, the verb is conjugated in the feminine form. It is as follows. 1. In the verse, in order to express the meaning make habitation, the word itahaz, which is used for the feminine, is preferred instead of itahazi, which is used for the masculine. 2. In order to express the meaning eat of all fruits, the word of hul, which is used for the feminine, is preferred instead of huli, which is used for the masculine. 3. In order to express the meaning follow the ways of your Lord, the word of yuslik, which is used for the feminine, is preferred instead of yusluki, which is used for the masculine. 4. The pronoun there in the sentence, there comes forth from their bellies, is expressed with the word hu, which refers to the feminine, instead of the word ha, which refers to the masculine. So, the deeds which are mentioned by the Quran as making habitation, that is, building the honeycomb, eating of all fruits in order to collect the nectar, following the ways of Allah, which is inspired and giving the honey from bellies, are performed by the female bee. That is, the doer of all deeds here is the female bee. So what do scientists say about this news given 1400 years ago? Are all of these listed works performed by the female bee, really? Now, listen to the words of scientists on this subject and hear what they say. They say that all deeds that the Quran mentions are performed by worker bees, which are female bees. there is no connection with the deeds which are mentioned by the Quran and the male bees. The sole duty of male bees that have huge eyes and have a larger form than the female worker bees is to ensure reproduction with the young queen. Male bees that accomplish this task at the end of summer are thrown out of the honeycomb and die soon, as they are accustomed to living with the nursing of female bees. As you see, the news of the Quran and the fact science has found in this century is one and the same. This fact, which has been discovered by science recently, but which has been informed by the Quran 1400 years ago, is the miraculous news of the Quran. However, it was impossible for the people to know the division of labor in the honeycomb at the time of the revelation of the Quran. The people of that time did neither know what the worker bees were female, nor that the works of building the comb and producing honey were performed by female worker bees. However, the Quran informed this, and the news turned out to be true as it was informed. Is there other way than accepting the Quran is the book of Allah in the face of this great miracle of the Quran, which amazes people? The Quran is the book of the being, who inspires the bee and prepares the honey in its belly. He let the honey be prepared by the female bee, inspired it, and informed this in his book centuries ago. Yes, the Quran is the book of Allah and his eternal speech. We believe in it and accept it.
MashaAllah, alhamdulillah for everything. We thank Allah for this and for the things that He gives us. Doctor, you heard everything that was on there just now about the male and the female. Is there any way possible that somebody could have come up with this even 200 years ago? Would they be able to do that?
Impossible. It has not been done except recently. So this is what I say, that under current scientific knowledge, whatever Quran has mentioned, 80% of those things have proven to be correct according to the current science. 20% is still, I use the word ambiguous, in the sense that we have not been able to prove it. So when 80% has been proved correct, so what are the chances that when our scientific knowledge advances, that will also come out to be true? Very, very likely. And those 80% things that have been proven correct, none of them science has been able to prove it wrong. So 80% of things, as mentioned in Quran, have been proven from the current scientific knowledge. So,
MashaAllah. Okay, well, when I was a boy growing up in school, I remember that they taught us that there was no scientific evidence at that time. Now, this is like 70 years ago. But they said that at that time they could not figure out how a bee with some small, tiny wings could fly, because they said that we don't, according to our science at this time, they were laughing about it. They said, according to the science that we have about aerodynamics, a bee cannot fly. And I thought to myself, it's a good thing that they also can't read and write and go to school, because otherwise they'd have to walk over to all of the flowers to get the pollen, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
So there have been very clear cases where scientifically they said, for instance, that the 500 years ago, they were saying scientifically in Europe, they were saying that they could prove that the earth is flat, and if you go far enough, you're just going to fall off. They really believed that. But yet in the Quran 1,400 years ago, it was saying that the earth was shaped kind of like, and the shape that they mentioned was like the egg of the ostrich or something like this. So, which is it's a little bit off. It's not perfectly round, but and that's exactly how the Quran described the earth, and it talked about that the sun was rotating. And it's in an orbit, that the sun is in a rotation and it's in an orbit. And I just saw a video about that yesterday, how that the sun turned, and it showed it turning so many revolutions per year, and it was showing that. SubhanAllah. But, you know, they take it for granted now, but they don't realize that the Quran already said that 1,400 years ago.
Exactly.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. It reminds me very interesting story what you were just talking about, that you know, scientifically the bee cannot fly, but don't you see that the bee flies?
Yes.
Don't you see that the bee flies? What else you need the proof for? You know, how many that's all things goes, that how many white crows you need to see to believe that they're white crows. And
yes.
And also, I remember historically, when the news came that the man was able to fly, some priests came out of their place of worship and starting shouting, no, 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 the flight is only reserved for the angels. Man cannot fly. Do you remember that historical fact?
I don't remember that, but I did see a video showing that the way the drawings, there were some ancient drawings from about 800-900 years ago. Some of the Muslim scientists in Spain had come up with a way to design a flight, and it was like an extension that you could put on, and a contraption that they, and a Muslim actually tried to fly, and he flew, but he didn't know how to land, and he crashed, and when he did, he got hurt, and he abandoned the whole project. But they still have the drawings of it, and it showed the lift and the flight and everything, and it did work. It just didn't know how to land. So when he crashed, he said that man wasn't made to fly. Birds, you know, and he left it. But actually, the first flight of a human being was a Muslim 800 years ago. The only problem, like I said, he did crash. He jumped off of a cliff with that thing, and it was flying, and then boom, he hit the ground, and he said, forget about it.
You know, that reminds me something very interesting about Neil Armstrong. When he was asked, how did the man land on the moon? He said it was very simple. We solved all the problems that we had to encounter putting man from Earth to the moon. And then we also solve all the problems that man is going to experience from coming moon back to the Earth. So basically, it is a problem solving. What happened was that the man solved the problems going up, but did not solve how to come back on Earth.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's one thing. Going out of Earth's atmosphere is already a big deal. Allah said about this in the Quran. If you know about the verse in Surah Ar-Rahman, it's 55, Surah 55, verse 33. It's kind of easy to remember. And he says, the translation of the meaning, Allah is telling us that, oh, you mankind and jinn, try to go out of Earth's atmosphere. Even come together and try to go out of Earth's atmosphere, but you'll never do it. But that doesn't stop there. He says you'll never do it illa bi sultan, except with a great authority or power. Depending on how you translate the word sultan. Yeah, which is your last name. By the way, as far as you know, what is the reference of your last name? What do you know it to mean?
Well, Sultan means the king, and this is a very. My full name is Tipu Sultan, and Tipu Sultan was one of the most powerful force getting British out of India. So his hobby was that the lions were his pets. He used to raise lions as pets, and he said that one day of life of a lion is better than 100 years of living like a jackal. So he was a very very powerful historical history.
So
who was
the
British
reason
got out of India.
The reason I brought it up is because Allah used the word Sultan, and you confirmed it. You said it's the powerful, the very powerful. So how we think about power in a vehicle, we consider, okay, I need fuel for my vehicle. So how do I get the fuel for my vehicle? So I buy it by the liter if I'm in some of the countries where they measure it that way, or I buy it by the gallon if I'm in the countries that measure it that way. But when it comes to the fuel for a rocket ship, they don't go by the gallon or the liter, they go by the tons. Tons and tons and tons of hydrogen, oxygen, and all of the fuel that it takes to put that missile up in the air. And that makes sense. Then Allah said, you'll never go out of Earth's atmosphere, illa bi sultan, except with a great power. Subhanallah. And I wanted to come back to that because this is really, I think, a good chance for us to show that. I'm going to see if I can put it up on our website. We have the website, recitequran.com, and if you go to that, let me see if I can pull it up for you guys. Take a look at this. Yes, that is Surah Ar-Rahman, and we're going to play it right now, inshallah, let you hear it.
يا معشر الجن والإنس إن استطعتم أن تنفذوا من أقطار السماوات والأرض فانفذوا لا تنفذون إلا بسلطان.
O company of jinn and mankind, if you pass beyond the regions of the heavens and the earth, then pass. You will not pass except by authority from Allah.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Okay, now we've got to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to have a surprise guest is coming with us. So stay tuned and stay guided with Guide Us TV. We'll be right back.
You're watching The Newsroom, Islam Newsroom. The news you want when you want it, from the Islamic perspective.
Now we have some websites, alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Who is Allah?
Maybe we'll even see somebody enter into Islam.
Excuse me, do you believe in God?
Why do we call him Allah?
One more time, everyone. Okay, good.
These are the ones that we're going to be mailing out.
Ilaha. Illa. Allah.
And I bear witness. That Muhammad.
That's right, we're right across the river from Palestine, as a matter of fact, here in Aqaba. The new moon, the Hilal, has been sighted for the month of Shawwal.
When the adhan is called, it doesn't matter where you are. You go and you make your salah, alhamdulillah.
Now, I think this is something that inshallah ta'ala will all be able to benefit from.
Log in now and make your contribution today to support your favorite project at donatetoislam.com.
Boom. And we are back. You're watching Guidance TV. We're coming to you almost live all the way from right here in Southern California from our studios here. And if you just tuned in, we have some guests with us tonight. And let's bring them out here. We'll start with Dr. Ada. Assalamu alaikum, all the way from Florida.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh Yusuf.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah, great to have you with us. I heard that somebody had a special day today at your place. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, my oldest daughter's birthday. So we just had a little, celebration. Daddy brought a little cake and, just trying to get everybody, little happy moment here. So, alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah, they grow up fast. With 1 minute they're toddling around and bumping into stuff, and the next thing you know that they're going to school, and wow, they grow up fast.
Absolutely. And hopefully, inshallah, they will go on to be the best, wives and the best mom ever for, strong believers and be a good example for Islam and Muslims, and to serve positively and contribute positively to humanity at large.
MashaAllah. Yep, I hope that's the way that it goes. By the way, Doctor, we've been talking about some of the things of the Quran and how that it's really a miracle, but also I love that when you come on, you always like to remind us about our hearts. And I know you're a heart doctor, you're a cardiologist, a fancy word for heart doctor, but at the same time, you like to talk about the things that bring peace and serenity or sakina to the hearts. So if you could remind us some of the things like from the Quran and Islam that would help, that would be highly appreciated. But by the way, I meant to tell you this last night, but if you mention an ayah from the Quran, give me time to pull it up, because I do have it ready, but I need time. I usually need about 60 seconds to pull it up, okay?
Okay, go ahead and Surah Al-Ahzab. Verses number, Ahzab is 33.
Yes, I knew that.
9, ayah number 9. I'm going to mention a couple more while you pull this up. So inshallah we will go through it, because there's a lot of great stuff in Surah Al-Ahzab on hearts. And prior to that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have, in the creation of a human being, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after, being from a clot to, when a sperm and ovum combine together, then a drop, then a clot, then a piece of flesh, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blow with the spirit, after developing a 12 complex systems of the body, including respiratory system, circulatory system, digestive system, skeletal bone, and so on and so forth. And Allah have made in this order of creation. Sama first, the first is the sense of hearing, wal abasar, sense of vision, and wal afida, and the heart start beating around 10 weeks intrauterine life. Qalilan ma tashkurun. Allah is giving a statement about that the people are not thanking Allah enough. Very, very little. Qalilan ma tashkurun. If we thank Allah for 360 joints that we have in the body, that we start moving, getting out of bed into the bathroom, and then start a new day and so on, and that's why we say, Alhamdulillah, alladhi ahyana ba'da al-mawt. Allah give us a brand new day of life. And, you can thank Allah for the vision, all the senses, the hearts, the sounds, and then the food, and then the health, and then, and you can go on and on and on. But this is very important to thank Allah for what He have given us. In Surah Al-Ahzab, in verses 4.
Let's listen to that. Let's listen to that. I've got it up there. Let's let them hear it. That this.
Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, Ayyul Ladina Amanu.
O you who have believed, remember the favor of Allah upon you when armies came to attack you, and we sent upon them a wind and armies of angels you did not see, and ever is Allah of what you do seeing.
All right, now let's listen to the Arabic side of it.
Going to number 9.
يا أيها.
All right, now let's listen to the whole thing. Huh. It's giving me a hard time.
No, it's okay. It's number 9. Wherever you have it ready, it's number 9.
It's not working.
O you who have believed, remember
right.
the favor of Allah upon you when armies came to attack you, and we sent upon them a wind and armies of angels you did not see, and ever is Allah of what you do seeing.
Let's try it one more time.
Sure, no problem.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا اذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ جاءتكم جنود فأرسلنا عليهم ريحا وجنودا لم تروها وكان الله بما تعملون بصيرا.
O you who have believed, remember the favor of Allah upon you when armies came to attack you, and we sent upon them a wind and armies of angels you did not see, and ever is Allah of what you do seeing.
MashaAllah. All right, what's the next one, Doctor?
Okay, number 9, Al-Ahzab, number 9.
That's the one we just played.
لا جاءتكم من فوقكم من أسفل منكم وإذ زاغت الأبصار. So the bottom line is, this is a continuation of a couple of them before. ما جعل الله من قلبين في جوفه. Allah will never have two hearts in one chest. And I said, there's one exception with the post-transplant. The bottom line is you can only do one thing at a time. You can only have one focus on one mission or one thing to do at a time, because a lot of people, when they're quote unquote multitask, if they still have to do one thing at a time, maybe at a more efficient, but when you mix things together and you try to do it simultaneously, is never going to be correct. So this is a very good concept that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's a factual data that we should be aware of. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give this example, when they're in the battle with جاءوكم من فوقكم من أسفل منكم, if you were attacked from the right, left, from above and below, وإذ زاغت الأبصار, and your eye, your vision were just going in all different directions. And then this is the expression that everybody should be thinking. وبلغت القلوب الحناجر. Now, can you imagine? I said, Doc, my heart is jumping out of the chest. I feel my heart in my throat. This is what Allah says in the Quran. The بلغت القلوب الحناجر. The qalb is here in the chest, and al-hanajir, the throat, is up here. How come the heart moved and be felt in the throat? This is a reflection of extreme panic and extreme fear. That somebody thinks that they're, doom and gloom. At that point of testing, some people became doubtful about Allah and Allah, support, Allah's, victory and so on. And then, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at that moment, then, got his victory and his sending angels and so on. And the believers have won, and won big. And subhanallah, in Surah Al-Ahzab, again, this is about etiquettes. This is about communication with Nisa al-Nabi, with the wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You are not like any other women. إن اتقيتن فلا تخضعن بالقول. Do not soften your talk. فيطمع الذي في قلبه مرض. Because this may give a wrong message for someone who have illness in their heart. وَقُلْنَ قَوْلًا مَعْرُوفًا. Be very businesslike in your approach and talk, especially with the other gender, because Nisa al-Mu'mineen, this is a whole a concept. This sets the rules of intergender relationship. When someone would talk to the other gender, in case of a coworker or a colleague or a student or anyone over the others, and it will be very respectful. It'll be very professional, and it will not, the response from the women will not be softened. That will give a reason for someone who they have sickness in their heart, that they will, start, getting the wrong perception and flirting and so on and so forth. And we've seen all kind of bad things that happen, with them. So, and then the verses in Surah Al-Ahzab, again, 55, it's full of rules. Again, for the believers, do not enter the house of Prophet ﷺ without permission. Don't look at the food. If you're invited, then you go into the area where the food's being served. فَإِذَا طَعَمْتُمْ, that you should, at that point in time, فَانْتَشِرُوا وَلَا مُسْتَأْتِينَ حَدِيث. At that point in time, you'll be free to exit. إِنَّ ذَلِكَ كَانَ يُؤْذِي النَّبِيِّ. This would hurt Rasulullah ﷺ, that violating privacy. But Allah, لا يستحي من الحق. Allah is not shy about the truthful. Now, if you ask something to Nisa and Nabi, to the wives of Rasulullah ﷺ, for food, whatever, you could not ask them directly. You have to وَاسْأَلُونَهُنَّ مِنْ وَرَاءِ الْحِجَابِ. It has to be the proper etiquettes, to be beyond a boundary or a barrier. Why is that? Allah said, ذَلِكَ أَطْهَرُ لِقُلُوبِكُمْ وَقُلُوبِهِنْ. This is better and more purifying and more, I would say, professional, and well as less of having any other interaction that may not be appropriate, especially with the wives of Rasulullah. ذَلِكَ أَطْهَرُ, more purified to your hearts and their hearts. And وَمَا كَانَ لَكُمْ أَن تُؤْذُوا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. You would not and should not hurt Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَلَا تَنْكِحُوا أَزْوَاجَهُ. And you cannot, permitted to marry his wives even after his passing away. بَعْدِهِ أَبَدًا. Because this is a huge, sin.
Yes.
So Allah puts rules and
think,
regulations on the interaction.
If you don't mind, we could go ahead and play it, because I got to see it. We could let them.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
please.
if you want to do that.
Yes. The last one was 55 Al-Ahzab.
Actually, it's 54.
Okay. يا أيها الذين آمنوا
تبدوا شيئا أو تخفوه فإن الله كان بكل شيء عليما.
Whether you reveal a thing or conceal it, indeed Allah is ever of all things knowing.
لا جناح عليهن في آبائهن ولا أبنائهن ولا إخوانهن ولا أبناء إخوانهن ولا أبناء أخواتهن ولا نسائهن ولا ما ملكت أيمانهن واتقين الله إن الله كان على كل شيء شهيدا.
There is no blame upon women concerning their fathers or their sons or their brothers or their brothers' sons or their sisters' sons or their women or those their right hands possess. And fear Allah. Indeed, Allah is ever over all things witness.
MashaAllah. Go ahead.
Yes, and then in Surah Al-Ahzab also, and this is very critical for anyone listening, watching around the globe. This is the clear ayat of order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the hijab and the tahajjud, and the must do a hijab, because a lot of people have been arguing about this. So the dress code of the mu'minat of Ya ayyuhan nabi qul li azwajika wa banatika wa nisa'il mu'minin yudnina alayhinna min jalabibihin.
Assalamu alaikum. Yes. All right, hold on. We'll put you on the air. Yes, Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. You're on the air, go ahead. All right, they hung up. Sorry.
Everybody knows a Friday and Saturday 2 hours marathon for all the questions.
Oh,
but
my wife corrected me. You know what she's told me? She said, don't call it a mini marathon because that's an oxymoron. Mini marathon. So I'm going to call it a mini-thon. How about if we call it just a mini-thon?
Mini-thon, that's fine. 2 hours free. Hopefully education and kind of consulting and advising on medical related issue, coronavirus issue, that for everybody, inshallah, to benefit from.
Yeah, so actually, also the phone number's up here, guys. If you would like to call in, we'll interrupt the show because we're only here for you anyway, all right? So don't feel shy. Just pick up the phone, give us a call, 1-800-971-4383. Give us a call. All right, back to you, doctor.
It's free. Okay, very good.
Free, so, yeah, that's right, free.
Free everything. Ya ayyuhan nabi, O you the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam, qul, it's a straight order, لأزواجك, your wives, وبناتك, your daughters, ونساء المؤمنين, that's for all Muslim women. Everybody, يدنين عليهن من جلابيبهن, and then you could play it 59 and 60.
All right.
So to lower their clothes, ذلك أدنى أن يعرف. So this is very فلا يؤذين. So it's very important to be known, and then they may get hurt or offended or harassed. وكان الله غفورا رحيما. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
يا أيها النبي قل لأزواجك وبناتك ونساء المؤمنين يدنين عليهن من جلابيبهن ذلك أدنى أن يعرفن فلا يؤذين وكان الله غفورا رحيما.
O Prophet, tell your wives and your daughters and the women of the believers to bring down over themselves part of their outer garments. That is more suitable that they will be known and not be abused. And ever is Allah forgiving and merciful.
لئن لم ينته المنافقون والذين في قلوبهم مرض والمرجفون في المدينة لنغرينك بهم ثم لا يجاورونك فيها إلا قليلا.
If the hypocrites and those in whose hearts is disease and those who spread rumors in Al-Madinah do not cease, we will surely incite you against them. Then they will not remain your neighbors therein except for a little.
So someone was making a joke earlier today, this is it, no hijab and this and that for the Muslim. Well, you know what? It's mandatory now to have a mask or scarf on. And if you don't, in the state of Florida, if you don't, you get paid $2,500 fine or 6 months in prison. And men and women. And I've seen a lady, because it's over 100 degrees today, she got an ice cream, and every time she takes a sip, she pulls up and the drink. I said, oh, that looks familiar. So, hey, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ways and means. This coronavirus is bringing a lot of things that, and this was made to protect women, to honor them, and to really, really give them, to make them protected against any kind of harassment or sexual harassment or abuse. And Allah, who created us, knows that. And then to prevent anybody from being, abused or harassed. And Allah knows. For those who actually do that, they're very less likely to be, harassed. For those who don't, they are many, many, many times. This is already scientific data that has been proven and documented. And subhanAllah, now it's coming back, and it's coming very strong. And if you don't do it, you're going to pay money as a fine, or even go to 6 months in prison. So it's a serious, obviously, we come to help. But if you stop for a second, anybody, Muslim, non-Muslim, like, does this make sense? Allah puts this as a code of ethics and as a protection as prevention from, all kinds of bad things that happened, and now we have a sexually transmitted disease, epidemic in America, along with alcohol, and oh my God, and it's all connected, and it's all kind of, killing the immune system, so it's feeding up into the coronavirus statistics, and it's just, if you look at it from a 40,000 feet kind of view, this is actually very scary and very, kind of, let us think, let's reset here, let's look and listen to the Lord, to the Creator, and then maybe if we listen and fulfill His commands without being too much argumentative, then Allah will protect us and give us a second chance to give back to Him. And as we mentioned, so situations, I will ask you, please, Sheikh, if you can pull up Surah Al-Zumar. This is going to bring goosebumps to everybody. I'm giving you a heads up about this ayah of Surah Al-Zumar. In Surah Al-Zumar, that's 39, ayah 23. الله نزل أحسن الحديث كتابا متشابها مثانية.
Zumar. Ah, I got you.
The groups. Allah, He descended the most beautiful talk. That's the Quran. And there are
فيه شركاء متشاكسون ورجلا سلما لرجل هل يستويان مثلا الحمد لله بل أكثرهم لا يعلمون.
Is that the one that you're talking about?
No, Allah نزل أحسن الحديث. I think it's 23 as far as I recall.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So, الله نزل أحسن الحديث كتابا.
Yeah, that's it. 23. I thought you said 29. I'm sorry.
23. So it comes in a very, in a way that will make your goosebumps for those who listen to the Quran and fear their Lord, and then their skin soften, and then their heart would tremble, and then they will have, this is the kind of impact that the Quran would have on the believers. ذَلِكَ هُدَى اللَّهِ. This is the guidance of Allah. Allah will يَهْدِي بِهِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Allah will guide those He wants. وَمَنْ يُضْلِلْ اللَّهِ فَمَا لَهُ مِنْ هَادٍ. And if Allah doesn't guide you, then there is no other person or other means of guidance. Go ahead. الله
نزل أحسن الحديث كتابا متشابها مثانية تقشعر منه جلود الذين يخشون ربهم ثم تلين جلودهم وقلوبهم إلى ذكر الله ذلك هدى الله يهدي به من يشاء ومن يضلل الله فما له من هاد.
Allah has sent down the best statement, a consistent book wherein is reiteration. The skins shiver therefrom of those who fear their Lord. Then their skins and their hearts relax at the remembrance of Allah. That is the guidance of Allah, guides whom He wills. And one whom Allah leaves astray, for him there is no guide.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
And remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has descended this Quran and Arabian. This is Allah chose the Quran to be in Arabic. غَيْرِ ذِي عِوَجٍ. And everybody in linguistic will understand, without any crookedness. Like in the tongue or linguistics, on the guttural sounds, the way the exits of vowels, those who are, in the business or science of acoustics, Quran and Arabian غير ذي عوج. This is ayah 28. Quran غير ذي عوج لعلهم يتقون. It's very, very important to understand that Allah has chosen the Arabic language out of all languages to have the Quran descend and to stay in the Arabic language unaltered, protected to the day of judgment.
That's true. Well, and you know what? Guess who's come back with us right now? He's back. He took a little break with us and to do his salat, I think. He's
Actually, I'm going to do my salah if you don't mind, with your permission.
Yes,
I'm going to take a break.
Yeah, let's bring in Dr. Sultan. Dr. Sultan, salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We've been listening, to the Quran, and we've been listening to Dr. Adil telling us about the hearts and the verses in the Quran that help us. I was particularly stricken by this one verse that he was just talking about, that when you start thinking about Allah, you start trembling in your skin. You feel like shivering and you're scared. It tingles and you feel like, oh my God. But then when you really think about Allah, you recall Allah, you're making adhkar for Allah, then you relax inside and you become very, very peaceful. Is that what you've experienced as well?
Well, this is the height of people, and only a few fortunate people experience that. And I must admit that I have not reached that level yet, but I'm striving to be there.
Well, I think that there is something that we could talk about, if you don't mind, that it really strikes me a lot, and that's when we go to the second chapter of the Quran, and then there's a verse there that is, it's called, they call it the verse of the throne, but actually it means the verse of the chair or stool, the Ayatul Kursi, and I'm sure that you're very familiar with that one, but
yes.
Yeah, but I want to play it for everybody just so they can. So, guys, just listen up here and we'll talk about it in just a minute.
الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم.
Allah, there is no deity except Him, the ever-living, the sustainer of all existence. Neither drowsiness overtakes Him nor sleep. To Him belongs whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on earth. Who is it that can intercede with Him except by His permission? He knows what is before them and what will be after them, and they encompass not a thing of His knowledge except for what He wills. His Kursi extends over the heavens and the earth, and their preservation tires Him not. And He is the Most High, the Most Great.
All right, so now we heard about something called the Kursi, and extended. He left a word in the Arabic language. He left the word Kursi in there, and he said the Kursi extends over the heavens and the earth. That means the whole universe, right?
Exactly.
So when we think about this, as a believer, you're realizing that this Kursi thing, whatever it is over the entire universe. And we have so many galaxies yet undiscovered. How could something be that huge and that monstrous? And so somebody asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam 1400 years ago. I'd like for everybody to think about this. 1,400 years ago, somebody asked the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was this the arsh, was this the throne of Almighty God? He said no. He made it very clear, no. So the Muslims who are saying this is God's throne or the verse of the throne. That's a very big mistake, because the Prophet ﷺ, peace be upon him, he said, no, it's not. It is not. He said that look at this. This kursi, this thing that's over the whole verse, is tiny. It's so small. It's like a ring thrown out into a desert. Now, if you have a ring on your finger and you just threw it in the Sahara Desert or the Arabian Desert, now, is there any chance in the world that you would ever find it again? Let's say you're in a helicopter and you drop it on the way between Cairo and Casablanca, or maybe somewhere you're between Yemen and Mecca, and you just drop that ring out of the helicopter, and then you want to come back and find it. And even if you got some camels and loaded up and you said, well, let's go, guys, we're going to go find that, the chances of you finding that ring in the desert are so small. In fact, I would doubt that the people would be able to find you in your camel caravan, because you're probably going to get lost out there in Aruba Khali looking for it. Is that right?
That's 100% right.
Okay, but now, so the Prophet, peace be upon him, compared the size of this kursi to the arsh of Allah, as though it's a ring in the desert. But then he also compared the size of the whole universe to the kursi, as though the universe is the ring in the desert. So now stop and think about this. This whole entire universe and our planet, well, our sun is not even a big sun, and our planet is definitely not the biggest in the solar system, but the whole entire galaxies upon galaxies of even the Milky Way is only one of the many of the parts of the universe. And this whole universe is like what? It's like a tiny ring in a desert compared to the kursi. The kursi is a tiny ring in the desert compared to the arsh. And then it says, وَلَا يَؤُدُهُ حِفْظُهُمَا وَهُوَ الْعَلِيُّ الْعَظِيمُ. Wow. Because the translation on that part of it, it said, and he feels no weariness or tiredness. He doesn't get tired from taking care of all of it. And he is Allah Ta'ala. He is the most high, Azim, and the most great. SubhanAllah, when I think of that, it really makes me stop and go back and start shaking. And we got a caller here. Let's take the call. Assalamu alaikum, caller.
Traveling about...
Wait a minute. Wait. Hold on. You're live on TV, so we ask you to turn down your TV because I can hear it in the background. Can you do that for me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
All right. Now, tell us your name and where you are.
Okay, my name is Niveen from Orlando, Florida.
Orlando? Well, you're very close to Dr. Adel. He's in Tampa. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it's like an hour...
on the beeline.
More than a half hour and 40 minutes, yeah.
Yep. Well, go ahead.
Okay, so my question about traveling in the future, I know it's not like now, but I canceled my flight to Cairo end of May because of the situation. Also, no planes going to Cairo, but in the future, who knows when, and they said there will be empty seats in between the seats, but how safe is it if I sit and then the seat next to me is not occupied, and then the one after, and then with the long flights wearing the mask, this really looks hard for me. So what do you think about that? Is
well,
it safe in 2 months?
Yeah.
Or not?
Dr. Adel just came back in, and I don't know who wants to take the question, but the question is from our caller asking us about traveling back to Cairo. But before we go any further, I'll let you know I have a friend who is in Egypt right now, And he's from here in the States, but he was over there to get some treatment for his father. And while he was there, this whole thing came about, and now they're not allowed to leave, and nobody is allowed to come in. So you need to know that. But before you ever go buy any airline tickets, it's not possible to do that. But when it is possible to do that, you asked about if somebody, and also I just read yesterday on the news that some airlines don't allow somebody to be sitting next to you on either side, but if somebody sits next to you, they can't really stop them. So they're kind of in a quandary about that. So that's a good question. But let me turn it over now to the doctors. Which one of you want to put your hand up, and I'll give you the microphone. All right, let's ask Dr. Sultan. Dr. Sultan, what would you say?
We have to take into consideration many things. Number one is it the flights open? That's point number one. I don't know because I'm not keeping track on the international travel. Number two is if it is open, how urgent it is for you to do. Can you postpone it until we see that COVID-19 infections are down and they are pretty much in control? Because right now in the United States, most of the area, they're totally out of control. In Europe, they are thinking about very seriously blocking the American travelers coming to Europe because the situation is so bad right in here. And then you have to see what the U.S. policy is of you coming back. But it is quite possible that you may be able to leave, but you may not be able to come back. So how important it is for you to remain stuck over there. So all these factors take into consideration, not just it is safe for me to travel or not travel. So you have to, like for example, I'm a medical business, you see, I'm a medical physician. I couldn't, even if I'm allowed to go to Pakistan, it'll be not smart on my part to go there because I don't know how long I might get stuck, 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, or who knows how long period of time. So these are the things that you have to take into consideration besides the risk factor of traveling. So put all these things together and then you make your decision, okay?
Yeah, okay.
I want to add
yes, Doctor, hold on one second. Let me try to get it up. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you so much. I want to add to what Dr. Sultan said. I agree with everything he said. Two important things for those who had to go, a family and with kids, they had to be reunited with their remains to the family in Egypt. They had to be checked, tested for coronavirus. They were negative and they had to make sure there was no fever. So they went through the whole screening. And then I think Egypt Air is going to have a resumption of flights to the U.S. Gradually, starting July 1st. But then the seating arrangements on all these things is being developed and it's being strictly enforced, given the facts that the U.S. now is becoming the epicenter of coronavirus, which a lot of people will have strict quarantine if it's suspected symptoms coming from the U.S. So it's like reverse situation almost 3 months ago. Yes, it has to be something urgent and very, very dire emergency to do it, to go through all that, and especially when coming back, I know a lot of people have to jump through so many hoops to do the testing again over there for the coronavirus, to get in touch with the U.S. Embassy, to get the clearance when they arrive in the U.S. that they're going to have safe to go. It's getting very complicated, and unless and until it's an absolute emergency, better to postpone it till things get more or less, clearer. Right now, everything's murky and in flux, and it keeps changing. And so that probably will be the best bet.
All righty.
Yeah, and I'll add to this that even within the United States, I'm leery of traveling unless this is really urgent and emergency. I would not travel.
Okay, I hope we answered your question, sister. Did you hear all of that?
Kind of, you answered my question. I have to be honest with you guys. You kind of answered my question, but my main concern was wearing the mask for long hours if I have to travel.
Well, sister, we'll have to put it on hold because we got to take a break right now. But in the break, maybe we can find out something. We got to take this break right this minute. So we'll be right back, guys. Stay tuned.
You're watching The Newsroom, Islam Newsroom. The news you want when you want it, from the Islamic perspective.
Now we have some websites, alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Who is Allah?
Maybe we'll even see somebody enter into Islam.
Excuse me, do you believe in God?
Why do we call him Allah?
One more time, everyone. Okay, good.
These are the ones that we're going to be mailing out.
Ilaha. Illa. Allah.
And I bear witness. That Muhammad.
That's right, we're right across the river from Palestine, as a matter of fact, here in Aqaba. The new moon, the Hilal, has been sighted for the month of Shawwal.
When the adhan is called, it doesn't matter where you are. You go and you make your salah, alhamdulillah.
Now, I think this is something that inshallah ta'ala will all be able to benefit from.
Log in now and make your contribution today to support your favorite project at donatetoislam.com.
You're watching The Newsroom.
And we're back, guys. All right. We're having a great time here with all of our guests and with those of you calling in. So if you'd like to call us right now, this is a great time to call in and ask your question. Yes, sir. And we had a chance to clarify some things for the sister who just called in. And it's as far as if the way the Sheikh, the doctor said it was, it seemed to me that if she, if they are practicing 6 foot and nobody's closer than 6 foot, and you're traveling along in the plane, that maybe you could remove it, and that's a good answer. I don't know. Anyway, so with that, let's continue now with what we were doing with the hearts, and I'm going to ask Dr. Adel to pick up where you left off. And by the way, the sister seemed like she was from Egypt, and she's in Orlando, so yeah, you're also from Egypt, and maybe you. Alhamdulillah. Go ahead.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So we have, this is the heart series, and now we're going to move on and switching gears to Surah Fussilat, which is number 41, and this is ayah number 5. وَقَالُوا قُلُوبُنَا فِي أَكِنَّةٍ مِّمَّا تَدْعُونَا إِلَيْهِ وَفِي آذَانِنَا وَقْرٌ وَمِن بَيْنِنَا وَبَيْنِكَ حِجَابٌ فَاعْمَلْ إِنَّنَا عَامِلُونَ. So they say that they have a shields on their hearts from whatever you tell us is not going through, is not getting through their heart. And then we have almost plugs in the ears, so we don't hear. Well, and there is a hijab, there is a barrier between you and us. Things are not going through, are not getting through to us. So they're showing this interest in the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And those people were described before in Surah Al-Ghafir, verses 56, in fi sudurihim illa kibr. You know, we mentioned before that the sudur, you know, the chest, referring to the heart, kibr, arrogance. They have nothing but arrogance. And then they keep on arguing on the ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without knowledge, without any authority that was giving to them. And those the people that will not be having the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala go through and get to their heart. So those people, most likely, they're not going to get the benefits of what's in the Quran and the guidance and the nur and the shifa and the cure that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have put in the Quran. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even describe in Surah Muhammad, verse 21, 22, 23. So it is very important that Allah mentioned this. أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ Allah la'anahum Allah. Those are the people been cursed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what happened in the curse? فَأَصَمَّهُمْ. So they made them deaf. وَأَعْمَى أَبَصَارَهُمْ. They make them blind. أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ. They will not be able to ponder and understand. Or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what's wrong with these people? أَمْ عَلَىٰ قُلُوبٍ أَقْفَالُهَا. Do they have locks in their hearts? You actually go to locksmith and get a code or get a key to open. So those people have locks on their hearts that, nothing is going through to their hearts. So that, if that's the case, then they're probably not going to have any hope in them that they will get.
أفلا يتدبرون القرآن أم على قلوب أقفالها.
Then do they not reflect upon the Quran, or are there locks upon their hearts?
And again, in the Surah Muhammad, verses 29, أم حسب الذين في قلوبهم مرض أن لن يخرج الله أضغانهم. Don't you think the people who have illness in their hearts, Allah will not bring out their adghanahum, their hatred, out and expose them? So you could play that as well. 29.
أم حسب الذين في قلوبهم مرض أن لن يخرج الله أضغانهم.
Or do those in whose hearts is disease think that Allah would never expose their feelings of hatred?
So, if you were listening, you've been on and off through the common theme of how the heart was mentioned 132 times in the Quran and how it relates to every single aspect of emotion, of response, of action, of thinking, of delivering, of how the heart can be from so softened that they will have the skin go into goosebumps and the heart will tremble and then the tears will flow in the eyes. Or they could have on the other extreme, the heart has been very hardened, that they're actually harder than the rocks, that even the rocks could shatter, and then it will have rivers and water that come, or even will go down from the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah, with the same Quran, can guide the believers and can guide those believe that with the Allah see this khair in their heart, will turn them around and bring them close to Allah. And for those who continue to argue, continue to have arrogance, continue to have doubts, continue to have disbelief, and no matter how many opportunities are given to them, then more than likely they're not going to really get the benefit of that opportunity. And we've seen, excuse me, last minute, and like Fir'aun, and now I'm a believer now. I believe in everything that the people, in Israel, the same thing the people of Israel have believed in, the same God that they believed in. But and Allah said, are you kidding me? Now that you're drowning, and you have all the Red Sea coming and basically drowning him. So this will be too late already. So this is a kind of reminder for everyone to do the khair, because you never know when that moment when the heart stops and the soul is taken away, and then there is no going to be a second chance. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will always bring in Surah Al-Fath in verses number 4, هو الذي أنزل السكينة في قلوب المؤمنين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have brought tranquility in the hearts of believers. For what reason? لِيَزْدَادُوا إِيمَانًا مَعَ إِيمَانِهِمْ, so that they will increase in faith along their baseline faith. Allah would increase that more and more. وَلِلَّهِ جُنُودُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. And I remember my late mom, may Allah bless her soul, she keeps telling me, you never know who's out there that Allah has made junud. Junud al-samawati wal-ard. There are soldiers in heaven and earth. Allah recruits them. You never know who are they? Where are they? وَكَانَ اللَّهُ عَلِيمًا حَكِيمًا وَلِلَّهِ جُنُودُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. That how did this happen? How did this job got done? How this? Because Allah له جنود السماوات والأرض وكان الله عليما حكيما. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all knowing and all wise. It's very, very important to know that you will definitely, the mu'min, will have tranquility in the hearts of believers, and they will increase their faith when they feel that connectivity with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they will know Allah will send support to them through those soldiers and that Allah recruits in heaven and earth. Those work for Allah directly, and Allah give them the assignments, and they assign them to really give the assurance and the peace and tranquility in the hearts of believers. It's very exclusive to the believers. And in Surah Al-Fath, again, verses number 12, بَلْ ظَنَنْتُمْ أَنْ لَنْ يَنْقَلِبَ الرَّسُولَ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِلَى أَهْلِهِمْ أَبَدًا وَزُيِّنَ ذَلِكَ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ وَظَنَنْتُمْ ظَنَّ السَّوْءِ وَكُنْتُمْ قَوْمًا بُورًا. If you want to play that's an important kind of a thing, because Rasulullah was tested so much by people who may look like a believer, but there are hypocrites, and they say things they actually don't mean in their hearts, and they've been going flip and flop, and they have all kinds of things, and they have bad intentions and bad feeling. You guys were bad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what's going on. So if you want to, play that in Fath, which is 48 verses number 12.
48:12. All right, let's see if we can. 8. That is Surah Fath.
بل ظننتم أن ينقلب الرسول والمؤمنون إلى
وهو الذي
Hold on. 12. All right. Okay. Here we go.
بل ظننتم أن لن ينقلب الرسول والمؤمنون إلى أهليهم أبدا وزين ذلك في قلوبكم وظننتم ظن السوء وكنتم قوما بورا.
But you thought that the messenger and the believers would never return to their families ever, and that was made pleasing in your hearts. And you assumed an assumption of evil and became a people ruined.
And similarly, and maybe after that we'll get Dr. Sultan to give his intake on that as well. In Surah Al-Fath, verse number 18, لَقَدْ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ إِذْ يُبَايِعُونَكَ تَحْتَ الشَّجَرَةِ فَعَلِمَ مَا فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ فَأَنزَلَ السَّكِينَةَ عَلَيْهِمْ وَأَثَابَهُمْ فَتْحًا قَرِيبًا.
لقد رضي الله عن المؤمنين إذ يبايعونك تحت الشجرة فعلم ما في قلوبهم فأنزل السكينة عليهم وأثابهم فتحا قريبا.
Certainly was Allah pleased with the believers when they pledged allegiance to you, O Muhammad, under the tree, and He knew what was in their hearts, so He sent down tranquility upon them and rewarded them with an imminent conquest.
So this is good dose about the hearts, for tonight. And if you're up to it, I have a quiz about the colors in the Quran. The Quran is full of colors.
MashaAllah. Dr. Sultan.
I like to learn more about it. Go ahead.
You want to hear about the colors? All right, let's do that.
Okay. So what are the colors that's mentioned in the Quran? Number 1, asfar, yellow. Number 1, abiyat, white. These colors are all mentioned in the Quran. Aswad, black. Akhdar, green. Azraq, blue. Ahmar, red. Wardi is like almost like a rosy, and a dark green. And I'll mention each and every one how I say it. The first color is yellow. This is the first color was mentioned in the Quran, was mentioned 5 times in 5 ayah. Why? To bring the happiness. Number 1, إنها بقرة صفراء فاقع لونها تسر الناظرين in Surah Al-Baqarah, verses 69. So that reflects that this is Baqarah, that yellow, and it's really look to give joy to those who look at it. But it also, the yellow comes in the context of destruction. وَلَئِنْ أَرْسَلْنَا رِيحًا فَرَأَوْهُ مُصْفَرًّا in Surah Al-Rum, verses 51. When you send a riha, it's usually a bad wind, a destructive wind. فَرَأَوْهُ مُصْفَرًّا, they will turn everything yellow out of the destruction. And this is true. Al-fana wal-biusa, that when it comes to, for instance, and you have a nice green, vegetations, and then it sometimes كَمَثَلِ غَيْثٍ أَعْجَبَ الْكُفَّارَ نَبَاتًا. This is the example of a disbeliever. First you like the crop and so on. ثُمَّ يَهِيجُ. All of a sudden they turn from green into yellow. And we see this, فَتَرَاهُ مُصْفَرًّا. We see this yellow, ثُمَّ تَرَاهُ حُطَامًا, and at the end will be totally destroyed. This is Surah Al-Hadid, verses 20. The second color is the white color. This is the second color. It was mentioned in the Quran 12 times, in 12 ayahs. And the evidence for that, الضياء, the light, إشراق الشمس, the sunrise, وقت الفجر, the time of Fajr, and the morning. In Surah Al-Baqarah, verses 187, حتى يتبين لكم الخيط الأبيض من الخيط الأسود من الفجر. So you eat till you see the white thread that is delineated from the black thread from Fajr. This is the time that you know that you should stop eating and get ready for a new day of fasting. It's also, the white is the color of the faces of people of Jannah, and is not about being racist or anything, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would give that white, shiny look of the people of Jannah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ بِيَضَّتْ وُجُوهُهُمْ. For those who her faces have been shined with a white color, and the light, and the nur, it doesn't matter what the original skin is, because a lot of African American brothers, when they come to masjid, their face is full of nur. And then they see that there's a light that comes out from their face, from the iman. And subhanallah, فَهُمْ فِي رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. Those people are forever and ever are granted in the mercy of Allah. 7. But also it could reflect a very good, disease that we see a lot in diabetics. I'm sure Dr. Sultan knows, which is, cataract or the whitening of the eye. This can happen from extreme stress, and it happened when, Jacob, he was so sad about losing his son Joseph, and out of this sadness, his eyes turned white, i.e., got cataract. وَتَوَلَّى عَنْهُمْ وَقَالَ يَا أَسَفَا عَلَى يُوسُف. Oh my God, I lost my son. وَابْيَضَّتْ عَيْنَاهُ. And his eyes turned white, meaning he had cataract. That what became his opacification of the lens of the eye, so he could not be seen anymore. مِنَ الْحُزْنِ, out of sadness. فَهُوَ قَدِيم, became blind. This is in Surah Yusuf, verses Surah 84. But also, it happened again, the whiteness, it's a miracle that happened in Sayyidina Moses alayhi salam. وَنَزَعَ يَدَهُ, and he pulled his hands. فَإِذَا هِيَ بَيْضَاءُ لِلنَّاظِرِينَ. So his hands are white to everybody's looking. Remember, he impressed all the magicians, and this is in Surah Al-Araf, verses 108. And it also, the white is the color of the road between the mountains. وَمِنَ الْجِبَالِ جُدُدٌ بِيضٌ. This is in Surah Fatir, verses 27. And also the drink of Jannah. The color of the drink of Jannah is white. بَيْضَاءَ لَذَّةٌ لِلشَّارِبِينَ. In Safat, Surah Safat, verses 46. It is white drink, but it is so much ladda. It is so much joy and tasteful لِلشَّارِبِينَ, for those who drink, to enjoy that drink. And the next color is black, aswad. So this is the third color, is mentioned in the Quran in 8 times in 7 ayahs. And the indication of which, dhulmatul layl. Do you remember when we look at the night, it looks dark, so it looks black, pitch black. We can even say that in our everyday conversation. The night was dark and black. حتى يتبين لكم الخيط الأبيض من الخيط الأسود من الفجر. We kind of mentioned it when we were referring to the white color earlier, but then again, this is the distinction or separation between a white line and a black line at the time of dawn. This is Al-Baqarah, verses 187. But also the color of the face of people of hellfire. وَتَسْوَدُّ وُجُوهُ. There was 2 kinds of faces, the faces that shine and full of happiness and joy, and then other faces that's been blackened. فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ اسْوَدَّتْ وُجُوهُهُم. Those who have their faces turned black. أَكَفَرْتُمْ بَعْدَ إِيمَانِكُمْ. You have become disbelievers after your belief. فَذُوقُوا الْعَذَابِ. Now you're going to taste torment. بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَكْفُرُونَ.
Yeah.
For what you have been disbelieved. This is in Surah Al-Imran, verses 106. In black, the color black, reflect the karb, hardship, al-ham, sadness, and gham, and depression.
Yeah, we got to take this break. We're 3 minutes late on our break, so we got to do this real quick, guys. We'll be right back, and stay guided. We'll guide us.
Here are some ways to get Guidus TV. Via satellite on Galaxy 19 FTA. At this satellite frequency, transponder rate 5, frequency 11836 MHz, polarity vertical, symbol rate 20770, FEC 3/4, channel ID, Guide US TV. You can also download the app to your smartphone. Available for iPhones from the App Store, for Android on Google Play. And now Guidus TV is available on Roku. Get guided with Guidus TV.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. We're having a good time with our guest. And also, I want to be sure that you know that this phone number right here, you can call it any time during our program, and we'd love to take your call. That's why we're doing the 2-hour programs on Friday night and Saturday night, and we've extended our other programs to be an hour and 30 minutes. So tomorrow night, it will be an hour and 30 minutes, starting a half hour earlier, still ending about the same time. But that also is, wait a minute, hold on. Yes. Yeah, tomorrow night is extended. Tuesday's extended and Thursday's extended. The only time we got a 1-hour program anymore, that's going to be our short program, an hour, is Monday and Wednesdays, inshallah ta'ala. All right. What do you think about that, Dr. Sultan? Huh?
Well, that's good. We can do that. It'll be a little bit hard for me to be all that time, but I'll do my best, whatever.
Okay.
Because I got to
if
come to
I
the
want to
office
take
and
if I want to take
Yeah.
Sunday off, Dr. Sultan, can you go ahead and handle it for me?
Yes, I can have. No. No.
You got sucked into this. You got sucked into this. That's not fair. He was just he bugged the bait.
He's going along around. Yeah, I'm ready. Whoa, no, I don't want that.
Yeah. That reminds me of a medic. You know, in the olden days, there used to be the physicians, and they used to visit people's houses and farms and stuff like that. So one day, the teacher took his apprentice with him. So I'm just giving you a little preview if I do that, okay? So took the apprentice with him, and the guy was a farmer sitting on his, laying on his cot outside and complaining of abdominal pain. So after a little examination and stuff like that, he said, "Did you eat melons?" He said, "Yeah, I ate melons." So, well, that's what is causing your stomach ache. So he took his fee and came home. And the apprentice asked him, how come were you able to figure out that he had eaten melon? He said, "You know, I saw melon coverings on the floor." So he said, "Okay, all right." Next time he had a call, but he couldn't go there. So he sent his apprentice there. Situation of the same kind. The farmer was laying on the bed outside and complaining of abdominal pain. So after a little look around, he says, "You must have eaten hay." So he said, "Because you saw the hay sitting by his floor." So the guys were, "This is just a fake doctor, you know." So kicked him away. So I do not want to be in your shoes until I have knowledge as much you have. Then maybe I can replace you. But that is years away.
Alhamdulillah. Well,
so
actually,
you got no competition from me.
Well, actually, we have you guys because we need to have our doctors. We need to have the people who have the correct knowledge of everything that Islam is linked to. So this is highly appreciated that you guys are taking your time to spend with us right now. Also, when you started telling this story, I was reminded of something that I heard many, many years ago. They said that that doctor had gone out to a farm somewhere, and on the way he got real thirsty. And he looked over into the well, because in those days we used to get our water in the farms. We would get it out of the well. You know, you drop a bucket down in there, pull it out with a rope, and you get your drink or whatever. But while the doctor was doing that, he slipped and he fell into it. And some people came along and they heard him shouting and hollering, and then they helped him get out of there. And they said, "Well, how is it that you come to do that?" He said, I was on my way to so-and-so's house because he's sick and I'm a doctor. And they looked at him and they said, "You know, doctor, you should attend the sick and leave the well alone. Okay. All right. If you're not going to laugh any louder than that, I'm not going to tell anymore. That's it.
No.
I'm out. No.
Dr. Adil doesn't leave the well alone. That's the way he works on the well and the wells.
Remember Yusuf's well? This all happened in Egypt but don't throw me in the well. That's what.
Yeah, we got that.
I want to tell everybody who's watching to please, if you didn't call tonight or in the remaining few minutes, prepare your question for next Friday and Saturday. We really want to, make this very beneficial. And I know there's tons of questions. We'll do the best we can, but try to take the advantage of that. And we're putting the time and the effort, so hopefully to benefit each and every one of you, inshallah.
Yes, I definitely would like for everybody to call in, but at the same time, guys, we have our contest, and I'm used to having so many of the children call in and recite for us, and this is open for that. So if you have a child that would like to recite the Quran, please encourage them to go ahead, and then we'll take your call. You can call in and recite the Quran. And don't hesitate. Don't think that, well, I'm not good enough or something like this, because you never know if the judges choose one of the children. They might get the $1,000. They might just get the $100, but $100 is still a nice gift, right? And we have 10 of those who are going to be eligible for that. But every single child is going to get a gift from us for entering. So please, it is Recite on TV. Let me see if I find that. I know we have a template for it. Let's see if we can find that. Hold on. Nope, I didn't find it. I thought if I clicked that would. Nope, it's not there. Anyway, so bottom line, guys, reciteontv.com. Reciteontv.com. If you go to that website, you'll be able to take your recorded video. You need to record a video and then upload it onto that website. Now, if you are using an iPhone, you can use our websites. The only one that you won't be able to have the app to watch our program that you're on right now. We don't have the iPhone app anymore, but you can still use your iPhone to go to your browser and open it up and watch it that way. The same for Recite on TV. Both of those will work just fine, no problem with that. And well, maybe I can pull it up. Let me think about this. Reciteontv.com. Let's see what happens. There it is. All right. I'm not sure that you can hear me right now, but I think you can. Inshallah. Yes. So that's the website. That was reciteontv.com. And let me try it one more time, and I can see if I can move it up, and you can see some of the children that we've had on here in the past. There we go. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. By the way, we weren't torturing these kids. Those are just thumbnails that pop up while they're reciting. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. So, yeah, reciteontv.com. If you go to that website and upload your video there, if you want to upload your video there, and you enter the contest, and who knows, maybe you'll win. But every single child will get a gift. And we're going to make a video of that, inshallah, showing all the different gifts that we're going to be distributing for that. So please stay tuned, stay guided with Guidance TV. We've got another 15 minutes in the program. And Doctor, if somebody asks a question concerning the the virus, what's going on right now. Should we write those down and give them to you? Because I do see a lot of questions that come up on the comments on Facebook and on
Please, and that absolutely, and then we can combine together. If there's a lot of similar ones that have the same question, because I know there's probably quite a few are repeated. We can subcategorize them and address each and every one separately, Dr. Sultan and myself. Inshallah.
Yeah. All right. Dr.
If you can send us the email for those questions, then we can sort them out.
Oh, that would be even better. I think that's a good idea as well. I like that. I'm looking right now over on the Facebook to see if the Facebook is one of the ones that we use very frequently for social media. I put up live stuff over there, and it's a lot of fun. We enjoy that so much. But let me see. This is, I'm looking at the Facebook right now. It looks like 15,000 people have been reached just on Facebook alone. That's good. And we have Haji Tosan says Salam Alaikum. And Sharifa Amina has put up a cute little emoji. Yeah. So, but I don't see any questions right now. Usually I see a lot of questions on here. Let me see if we can put that up. Yeah, here we go. Watch this. I hope you guys are hearing what I'm doing right now and seeing this. Yeah. We're looking on Facebook. If you don't have a Facebook account, you don't have to get one just to do anything with the Recite on TV. That's totally different than Facebook. So, and we do have a caller calling in right now. Let's take the call. All right. And I missed it. So whoever was calling us, just call us back again. Just do that real quick, and we'll take your call. That was from New Jersey, by the way. Somebody, the sister in Florida had called, Ontario, Canada had called, Minnesota had called. I guess I should have turned up the volume. I didn't want to interrupt anybody while you were talking, doctor, but I think I missed some of the phone calls because I couldn't hear it. So the one in New Jersey, you're most welcome to call us back right now. And we still have about 11 minutes in the... Yeah, here we go. Let's take that call. All right. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum. Go ahead. Wa alaikum salam. How are you?
I want to thank the doctors for bringing up the concept of colors. In the Quran, it was a new idea. And I studied at the master's level how the eye perceives, and alhamdulillah, there's an ayat in the Quran that says that the world is but an illusion or something like that. And after studying for 1 year, I realized that in terms of depth perception, color perception, motion perception, indeed it is an illusion. If you remember, if a train moves, you know how you feel like you're moving, but the train next to you is moving? So it's kind of like a feeling. So alhamdulillah, when Allah says the world is an illusion, from color perception, depth perception, motion perception, it indeed is that way. So subhanallah, after I studied 1 year, I realized the Quran is saying this, and I was just flabbergasted that this is the truth, that there is so much guidance there. So thank you for bringing up the colors.
MashaAllah. Thank you very much, doctor, for bringing up those colors. I appreciated it too. And do you have any question for the doctors tonight? Oh, you already hung up. All right. Oh, no, you're still there.
No, I just feel that your show is so wonderful. I'm like hooked to it right now in a positive way, because I'm learning so many new things that I didn't learn before. So I just want to thank you. May Allah bless you, and I love your show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any ideas? Any ideas how we can improve it?
Share.
Yeah, share it. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Boy, you put me on the spot. No, I just feel that it's good to cover new aspects of information in the Quran, maybe Hadith also, if they're related to it. For instance, when the doctor was talking about the heart, I remembered that the Prophet's heart was open, I believe, when he was like 10 years old. An angel came and cleaned his heart, kind of like open heart surgery, if you would. So that also came to my mind. So I just think bringing new information, new aspects of the Quran that people may not know. So thank you so much. May Allah bless you for your work, and we really enjoy it.
Well, thank you. Thank you for calling, and thank you for being part of our program tonight. Jazakallah khair, brother. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay.
MashaAllah. All right. Well, I'm glad we got that phone call in there. MashaAllah. So that really sets it off, doesn't it? I feel good that we have. I know that a lot of people are watching us right now, and you hesitate to call in. Maybe you're shy. Maybe you're afraid that you'll be interrupting something. But we are here for you. That's why we're here. That's why we're doing what we're doing. And it takes a lot out of us to come and do all these things on a regular basis. It's not just a one-time thing. But the reason we do it, we want to please Allah, and we would like to help the Muslim brothers and sisters and those who are not even Muslim to know more about Islam. So this is a great chance for all of us to share together, learn together, and if you can, bring some folks over that are not Muslim, don't know about Islam, let them learn too. So this is why we encourage you again and again. We say share these links and share the message, share with everybody. The idea of sharing is so big that we actually have a website called shareislam.com. And on shareislam.com, we've had so many people understand and clarify the meanings of some of the subjects we have about Allah, about Islam itself, by the way. That's the first one. And then another section of it, which is all about Allah and how we understand that there is proof for the belief in Allah. And then after that is the Quran itself. We talk about that. Then another section for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and other prophets as well. We have the Bible is covered on there in these sections. Jihad is covered on there. The women in Islam is covered there. We have so many things for you to explore and learn and share with each other. So we'd like to encourage you to do that. And for those children who are watching right now, please allow them to call in. And although that won't count toward a contest, but it gives people the spirit of wanting to recite the Quran and share the Quran with each other. I want to ask Dr. Sultan something. Dr. Sultan, you still with us?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'd just like to ask you, whenever you were a boy, and I know you were from a country where everybody is almost everybody is there, knows something about the Quran, even if they're not Muslims. And so, what was presented to you when you were a child about the Quran?
The best memories of my childhood about Quran was that my mother always used to recite Quran loudly, and I was sleeping in bed, and I will always hear her sound in the morning reciting Quran, and maybe I don't know how long she will do it, an hour or whatever, but during my nice dream sleep, I would always listen to her beautiful melodious voice, Quran, and those are my earliest memories of my childhood until I grew much older. Until my mother died, that was her routine, that she would recite Quran. That's the best memories I have of my time.
MashaAllah. We're going to switch from Pakistan to Egypt now, and I'm going to ask Dr. Adil the same question. What your childhood memories of the Quran? What do you remember?
We have similar memories that we can relate to all across the globe. The Quran before, and everybody talks about this when in Egypt, at sunset time, there is a Quran that comes on the radio that everybody, just stops. You know what it is. And rather than the noise and all that, we have the biggest city in the world, the Greater Cairo, 18 million. And everybody hustling, bustling, and so on. Just half an hour before the sunset, when they break the fast, after a long day fast, everybody's listening to the Quran, sitting and waiting for the moment to break the fast. That moment, and then just the Fajr Quran. And I remember from Masjid Sayyidina al-Hussein, and I used to live not too far away from it. And I remember, there is a huge cannon by the Citadel. I'm sure you've been out there, where they have like a cannon that actually give you the signal to break the fast. And it was so much joy that I can hear this. You talk about 10-second delay. I can hear this before in my ear before I can hear it on the radio. And I have that privilege because I was so close to where this cannon that is dedicated to bring the joy of Ramadan. By that. And I hope that people can look at the videos now on YouTube and all that, because they replicate those moments, and it's so much joy that nobody can buy. Talk about positive energy. Talking about the in Mecca, where the Fajr is being called for, and you hear the echoes from all near mountains. And a similar thing in Medina. It is so magical that no words can actually describe it. You have to be there physically and listen to it, and you'll have all the goosebumps in the world, and you'll have all the tears in the world, the tears of joy that you're connected with Allah during this very, very serene and very intense time, where the angels coming down, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is out there in the doors of mercy for all the dua. And everybody's really trying to say, I don't care what the language is. There's so many languages and so many colors, so different people and so on. And everybody's giving the same message. And it is very unique in Islam. It's very, very, it's really heart, warming experience, and also breathtaking view when you see the people all join together at the same time, like reading, praying, breaking the fast, going into fast. Everybody, I don't care what it is, big multi-billionaire, and I'm the next guy who's just cleaning toilets. But everybody is the same. There is no better or fancy titles or anything. Everything to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's really the message that hopefully could be shared with the globe, that stay humble, stay connected with Allah, be sincere in what you do, to keep the heart clean and to keep the heart connected, and reflect that with your deeds.
MashaAllah.
That's a message, inshallah.
MashaAllah. And we have Ruma Sayyida, and she is saying salams to us. MashaAllah. She published that right there. We're looking at it right now, so we're very happy that she would say that. And all of you who are leaving us messages there, that's a great idea. That is a great idea. I also wanted to share with you something, guys. We published something, and I wanted to be sure that everybody knew it was just for fun. And if you didn't know that, this is, I'm going to put it up here so you can see it better. Yeah, we published this thing, and we put it out there on the internet for fun. It is not really a stress test, okay? And they're telling us we got to wrap it up. Doctors, we have to run or walk to the nearest exit. We'll wrap it up with this, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And guide us with
Guide Us TV.
You're watching the Newsroom, Islam Newsroom. The news you want, when you want it, from the Islamic perspective.
Now we have some websites, alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Who